What is up, everybody? If you know me, my name is Kyle, and if you don't know me, my name is still Kyle, and welcome back to another video. Honestly, I'm pissed off that I have to make this video in 2025, and I feel like it is just an indicator of where we are in a society where a disabled veteran that was employed by Carnival Cruise Line was fired for making jokes. This video is going to be a little bit different than our normal content because I'm tired of YouTubers trying to be the first to a story and not getting the full story. So today we have the full story and we have a statement from the man himself that was involved in this incident. So let me give you a little background. The comedian in question is Derrick Eason. He has been employed by Carnival for over 25 years and has received a ton of praise from passengers in the past. His New York flair comes out in his comedy sets, and you can check out some of his content on his Instagram at I am Derrick Eason. The reason we're looking into this is because Derrick posted on Facebook basically saying abruptly goodbye during a mid-sailing, which had people starting to question what happened. And personally, I think he's a funny guy. I watched some of his content online, and I think he's got some great material. So we started doing a little bit of digging on why he said goodbye and why his contract ended so abruptly. And we found out that the issue stemmed from some crowd work and what happened afterwards. If you're unfamiliar with crowd work, it's when the comedian makes the audience part of a show by roasting them in a good, fun way. And it never gets old because a crowd is always different, so you never get the same shows twice, which makes it really hard because the comedian has to think on his toes while he's doing crowd work. However, a person on the Carnival Magic took the jokes too personal last week and ended up heckling Derrick. Now, I hate hecklers. Yes, I understand if you're doing crowd work, you're gonna have to roast somebody, and it takes some thick skin to get roasted, but understand that you voluntarily go to a comedy club and they have a disclaimer before every show, which Derrick literally shows in some of his videos, so I'll just play that right now.
Remember, this is gonna be an adults-only comedy show. That means if you're under the age of 18 or easily offended by anything, this is not the venue for you. What happened? You know what's happening. Get out.
So yeah, Carnival tries to cover the comedians and themselves by basically saying, if you don't have thick skin, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. So according to an eyewitness from a guest that was on board in the comedy club while Derrick was performing, basically said that the guest was on stage prior to the show and actually tried to be like he was a comedian and tell jokes. He was warned the second time, a third time, a fourth time, and a fifth time, and he was just starting to throw out things or stupid phrases that was just throwing off the show. And he was warned by the host of the show, but he also did nothing. Nothing happened until the very end when Derrick was just grilling him with jokes, and the guy ended up running back on stage. Still, there was no security to be found. And then finally, after the crowd was yelling at the guest and it got really loud, security came and it was a little too late. So basically, this guy that was being heckled was warned by Derrick multiple times to cut it out, to stop. And then security didn't do a thing until basically all hell broke loose. So based off this story, I don't think Derrick could have done anything differently, and he shouldn't even have to. He's a comedian, not a security guard. And I don't understand why Carnival doesn't have a security guard stationed at a comedy show anyway. I think after like 9 p.m., anywhere that there's a large gathering of people where they're serving alcohol, just like in the nightclub, they have security guards stationed. They should have them in the comedy show, because I've personally been on cruises where I've seen people storm the stage because they were offended or because they think a joke crossed the line. The comedian's just doing their job. They're trying to make people laugh. And if you're offended, that's on you. So we got a point of view from a person who was in the comedy show, but we reached out to Derrick to actually get a statement to see from his point of view what had happened. And let's read it together. This incident happened while I was on stage. That's the extent of my involvement, other than trying to de-escalate the situation from the stage. This isn't the first time security was not present to handle unruly passengers, and it should not be my position or job to do so. Since filing a sexual harassment October of 24 against a male crew member, a comedy host, I have received zero support from HR or the office. I've received nothing but negative complaints and feedback, some outright slanderous lies with no support from the office, but supporting these allegations. Too many futile attempts on my behalf to reach out, and I was the only one trying to meet and resolve these issues. No effort by Carnival Cruise Line to help me, and I pleaded. For over 20 years, I've proudly represented, protected, and defended Carnival. I've been commended many times, not just for my performances, but as a crew member. I am a proud Navy veteran, disabled, and still able to work with any cruise line who supports and protects their crew members and team members. This was mishandled unfairly, not fairly warned of a problem or issues, not given the tools or opportunity to rectify, no support after the type of traumatic sexual harassment encounter on the job. I was told my statement to security was not mandatory. Security should be there since an 18 plus anything goes type of comedy. The office offered no positive feedback to build on in order to rectify any issues. No warning, guidance, counsel, support, HR interest, nothing that said we care or we support or believe you, let's make it better. Nothing. 2025, after 3 months of being targeted, left to fend for myself on and off stage with no support team, of course I wanted no part of any drunk passenger problems. I was not the problem. I repeat, I didn't reach out to you, just like you didn't reach out to me. That is my statement. So there's a lot to unpack in that statement. And obviously, it's pretty apparent that Derrick did not have a great life on board the ship. He had to deal with sexual advancements from crew members and didn't receive any support from HR. And to Derrick's point, and I think this is a huge mistake on Carnival's part, is if you do something wrong, usually there's a probationary period with almost any job, and all of those formalities were skipped because a drunk, unruly passenger went to customer service and complained. I personally don't think if you're going to be a Karen and try to ruin a total comedy show, that these insults or these complaints should be even somewhat credible. I don't know why the captain or why their HR department didn't look into these issues any further. And most importantly, I don't think that people realize that these crew members are spending so much time away from their family. They're gone for 6 to 9 months in these contracts, and Carnival, I feel like, especially in this scenario, isn't treating their crew members with respect, because these people give so much to this business and they are literally let go without a hesitation. I've had the opportunity to talk to Derrick through DMs on Instagram, and I think he's an absolutely amazing man. I tried to bring up the idea of a GoFundMe for him, and he said he didn't want anybody's money other than Carnival's. Usually, if you're working for over 25 years for a company, there's some sort of severance pay, and Carnival just cut him loose without anything. He's just fending for himself. So this entire interaction with Derrick made me rethink being a Carnival cruiser. I am platinum on Carnival. I do choose Carnival quite often. And honestly, this whole thing has me reconsidering if I should be giving them my hard-earned money because of how they treat their crew members. I'm making this video so Carnival has a chance to rectify the situation. I hope this gets some eyes on this issue. I haven't seen any other YouTuber or any other newspaper articles about this. And honestly, I feel like this man deserves a fair shake. So if you made it this far in the video, comment "I stand with Derrick" in the comments. Let's try to get some eyes on this. Let's try to get some resolution for Derrick, because just being left out to hang after 25 years of your entire life being devoted to one company and they just don't have any consideration to hear you out, just to cut you loose. I feel like some questions deserve to be answered, and I feel like Carnival has a lot of explaining to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. Derrick, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry this happened to you. It was really nice talking to you. And for anyone else watching this other than Carnival Cruise Lines, if you have any contacts, if you're able to do hiring, if you know any talent agencies that work with cruise lines, please let me know so I can put them in contact with Derrick, because he is now looking for a job. Carnival Cruise Line, do better.